Welcome back, everybody, here to 32 on 32. This year, the Tennessee Titans have 0 primetime games, which is kind of crazy, but they got the number one overall pick. A lot of things to talk about in Titans football. Today, we are previewing their season here on Chase's Sports News with a very special guest. His real name is Samuel Brown. You all know him as RBT, the YouTuber with 1.5 million subscribers. Samuel, welcome to the show, my man. Thanks for joining me.
I appreciate you having me. I'm excited for this. I didn't like the intro there though about the no primetime games. But hey, once Cam surprises everybody, we start playing better than expected. They'll put us in one of those primetime spots. Just because we don't start with a primetime spot doesn't mean we won't end with one.
Right.
How about that? Be optimistic.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you guys are in a playoff position toward the end of the season, those flex games toward the end, you never know. I mean, the problem is the Cowboys and the Chiefs dominate probably half the primetime games. So teams like the Titans get very little chance.
That is very true. If we could just sneak in one, I don't know. We'll get into it. I'm sure. I don't
Yeah.
know if we'll be in that playoff spot at the end of the season, but we'll see. We'll see.
We will see. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, I know you're not, credentialed there. You do a different type of reporting work, which is awesome. That's why we're so excited to have you here today. We talk with a lot of beat reporters. You are a video game, NFL analyst, YouTuber, which is awesome. But overall, from the reports and the stuff you've seen, what has stood out to you from training camp and preseason and stuff like that, kind of some preseason events for the Titans?
Oh man, the thing that excites me the most is that Cam Ward is exactly who I thought he was. He's just a rare breed in the sense of in the NIL era, it's going to be hard for guys to come out of college with a real chip on their shoulder. And the path that he has had to take to get to this point in his career, there's just no way he can't have that chip on his shoulder. And the fact, like, just from all the information I could take in the pre-draft process, everything I could get my hands on to watch, I'm like, this guy lives, breathes football 24/7. I'm not sure if you saw the Shedeur Sanders clip where Shedeur Sanders wanted him to get in a rap song, and Cam Ward was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, brother, I'm a football player." But that's really who he is, and I've kind of heard from some inside sources that he is exactly as advertised. I mean, that's not to say like he's going to translate and have like to the NFL immediately and have like a Jaden Daniels type season.
Sure.
That's not all what I'm saying. I'm just saying they have the perfect guy that is going to grind on a not so great team to start. It might take a little while. He might be a 2-3 season guy before he really hits his stride. But for the first time in a long time, because of Cam Ward and Cam Ward himself, I am excited for some Tennessee Titans football.
I know, and I know the last time you were, I'm sure, really excited was when Derrick Henry was in tow at running back for Tennessee. I'm a diehard Baltimore Ravens fan, so I am very happily enjoying the Derrick Henry Baltimore Ravens era. But it was also tough at times, stiff arming Earl Thomas, 28-12 in the divisional round. We got you guys the next year, so Titans Ravens maybe a mini rivalry. But yeah, there's a lot of reason to be excited for Titans football this season, and I think that Cam Ward, you mentioned it, he's probably the most disrespected number one overall pick quarterback you could argue of all time. Like, it's one thing if a skill position player or a defensive player is there, but like it's very rare you have a quarterback go number one overall that everyone just doesn't think is going to produce. And he's got to have that chip on his shoulder.
And I mean, pretty telling. He is drafted number one overall, and within like 45 seconds, they've already moved on to the next story. Pretty telling that like in the entire lead up, the entire 10 minutes on ESPN leading up to the pick, when everybody knows that Cam Ward's going to be a selection, they spend half of the allocated time while the Titans are on the clock speaking about Shedeur Sanders when everybody knew that wasn't going to happen. So it's true. But as a Titans fan that wants to see the best out of Cam Ward, I love it though. Because know he's just going to take it as motivation because that's just who he is. But I'm really excited. I mean, the reports are the prototypical first one in, last one out. But it's real though. Like he just that's all he likes to do is play football, and that's a good thing, That's a good thing. So I mean, at this point, guys could get distracted. They got that money now, especially with the NIL, a million other things going on in the world nowadays. But he that's all he loves to do, and that's what you want to see from who you hope to be your franchise quarterback.
Absolutely. The Titans were maybe hoping that Will Levis could have been that guy, but he just wasn't. And last year, the team was really never in playoff contention. I know you thought they would be with Will Levis first year under Brian Callahan, but things just didn't work out. Now you cut Treylon Burks and kind of moved on from that era. How come the Will Levis experiment, if you will, just didn't go well?
I will tell you, brother, I got duped. That's what happened. I think Will Levis was really he was a product of the under center play action game with which is where he thrives with having a back like Derrick Henry to keep the front sevens modest. And I think that is where he thrives. But outside of that, as we saw last season, he's a little lost. And again, I was duped because when you, especially when it's a quarterback that's, let's say, not a first round pick, when he gets playing time as a rookie and he at least shows flashes, you got to be optimistic. That's really all you
Right.
can ask from a rookie quarterback. And when he played, I mean, there was times where he looked like a rookie, but you think about his opening game against the Falcons,
Mhm.
4 touchdowns, looked incredible. Had moments on, I think, I believe it was Thursday night football against the Steelers, had moments where he looked incredible. So again, and with the talent around him at that point in time too, I was like, man, like this guy has something to him. And then when we hired this, world-renowned offensive guru, this quarterback coach that has coached Peyton Manning, Matt Stafford, and a bunch of others, I thought, oh my God, what a perfect mix. This rookie quarterback that looked, I was going to say phenomenal, but looked good at times as a rookie, which is all you can ask for. Mixing now with a QB guru, I think he's going to light it up. And boy, was I wrong. I always do wonder though, because I think what we've learned about Will Levis was he's the opposite of Cam Ward. Cam Ward gets better when I don't know. I'm not sure if you saw the stat. Last year, Miami led the college football in offensive efficiency. They scored, I think, on 60% of their drives last year. On drives after Cam Ward threw an interception, they scored on 70% of their drives. So
Wow.
that just shows you how he can bounce back. Will Levis is the complete opposite. When he
Yeah.
made a mistake, he got in his head, it was over with. So I always wonder how differently things could have gone if it wasn't for that insane pick six. Like the moment where he did this, like if it wasn't for that, who knows?
Mhm.
But obviously it didn't work out, and it made me feel stupid because I was hyping him up all off
Yeah.
season. But sometimes it's just easy, to get optimistic as a fan
Yeah,
over
but I
a
mean
rookie
that's
decision.
what sports are for. You want to get excited, and I mean, I thought Levis had the talent. Obviously, he fell in the draft because he either put mayonnaise in his coffee or something. I don't know what was happening there, but yeah, I mean, he clearly had the arm talent, but it was the decision making. It was the mistakes that he made that were so costly, and the inability to get back on track afterwards, as you just mentioned. And look, now they've moved on to a different direction here. It's no longer Will Levis. They went 3-14 last year, and now you do have Cam Ward, and I think that Titans fans are really hoping that he can be that mastermind at quarterback. They really have not had that in a very long time. Marcus Mariota wasn't great. Ryan Tannehill was fine for what he was. Then you had Will Levis. Like, as a Titans fan yourself, like, how much does this franchise just need that, like, 10-year dominant quarterback?
Oh my God, desperately, desperately. I will say Ryan Tannehill year one
Yep.
was phenomenal. Then started, you know,
De-
ups and downs, ups and downs.
defense is saw enough film, and yeah.
I can't get that Bengals playoff game out of my head. You were talking about earlier the last time I was happy as a Titans fan. Last time I can really remember being happy as a Titans fan was that last drive against the Bengals in the playoffs, thinking we were about to get on the field in advance to the AFC Conference Championship game. And he throws an interception and they lose, and it's never been the same since. Trade A.J. Brown a few months later. But desperately to answer your question, I mean it's been since Steve McNair since we've had a bona
Right.
fide quarterback. We thought we were going to have him with Vince Young. Saw how that turned out. Although in a different lifetime, I think that could have ended differently.
Mhm.
But I mean, the most successful quarter. I mean, I think it says a lot. And this is not to knock Ryan Tannehill at all, because again, like people they don't give enough credit for that 2019 season where we almost made the Super Bowl. He was
Mhm.
like, at least statistically speaking, was a top five quarterback. But at the same time, when you say Ryan Tannehill is arguably the third best quarterback in your franchise's history, that's not really a good thing.
Yeah.
So we desperately need continuity at that position. And I will say, speaking of that word continuity, I still don't know. I'm not. I don't know how to feel about Brian Callahan. Like my
Mhm.
mind is telling me that like I don't see it, but I am rooting big time because the one thing I say about Cam Ward is he's gone from, I believe it's 4 different cities in the past 5-6 years. So he's never been able, from high school running the Wishbone to Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami. So he's had to move to a bunch of different
Mhm.
places in a short amount of time. and he continues to get better and better each time, even after having to learn a whole new environment, a whole new, not necessarily a whole new system, but a whole new
Sure.
playbook.
Yeah.
Imagine he finally gets to sit in one spot for a little while under the same system and actually perfect it a few years at a time. Like, imagine his potential at that point.
It's
So
like the
I'm talking
Jalen Hurts predicament as well. He's had a new offensive coordinator every year since high school.
exactly.
It's like, yeah.
So in that sense, it's like I really am rooting for Brian Callahan regardless, because I want Cam to be able to have the same coach for a couple seasons,
Right.
just to see what he can really reach. And at that point, like, you'd rather your number one pick not have to go the Caleb Williams route and have to
Right.
learn a whole new system, whole new coach after his first year. Although Ben Johnson, I wouldn't have been opposed to that.
Yeah. But here's my question, though, is that, like, you want to be optimistic about what Brian Callahan can provide, but, the Titans loved him because of what he did in Cincinnati, and then he leaves, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase each have career seasons in terms of their individual performance. So was it the Bengals offense? Was it his scheme? Like, do you really think that, like, maybe we over anticipated his impact on the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase Bengals offensive connection?
I think it's a little bit of a mix. I mean, number one, he didn't call plays in Cincinnati, so that was
Right.
kind of a red flag. But the one thing I always get drawn back to is, unless this is just somebody blowing smoke, he was apparently a really big commodity in that head coaching cycle. There was a bunch of teams that really wanted him, so he's apparently thought of pretty highly in NFL circles. Um, Rather, like, those NFL teams that want him wrong remains to be seen. But I'm gonna stick behind them, and like, I say that I wouldn't have been opposed, and there was rumors that, like, actually just coming out recently, that they were very close to just completely just wiping the slate clean,
The
firing the
Gerard Mayo
GM.
method. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which maybe would have been the better idea, because I don't think you'd fire a first year head coach with a rookie quarterback if they went with the new head coach this year. But regardless, they made their decision. They stuck with Callahan, and I'm hoping he shows enough progress. And I think it would take probably at least 7 wins to stick around another season. Rather we get there remains to be seen. But
Right.
I'm just hoping for Cam Ward's sake, if anything, that he can have the same head coach for the second straight season for the
Right.
first time. I mean, probably since high school.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the thing with Cam Ward, though, is like he's kind of moved from destination to destination. I had Matt Miller of ESPN, the draft analyst, on my podcast like a week before the draft. We were talking about Cam Ward, and he's like, he would have been a fifth round pick the year before he went to Miami. Like, if this was this time last year and he was in the NFL, he would have been a fifth, sixth round draft pick. And then he rose to number one. So you're hoping that what he did at Miami was enough and that he finally just blossomed. And now he really is that caliber of a player. And that's what the Titans will hope for. And look, they've put him in a good position. I think you look at what they've done this offseason. I mean, they've improved the offensive line substantially. You get Dan Moore Jr. at tackle, Kevin Zeiler, I love at offensive guard. You improve the defense a little bit as well. You get Tyler Lockett at receiver. He's not in a terrible position. What were your thoughts on how the Titans kind of operated this offseason, both offensively and defensively, to put Ward in a position to maybe have that 7-win rookie season?
What's really funny is when you say that, as soon as Kevin was signed, that was a sign to me that's where I knew we were going Cam Ward number one. Because no other reason would you sign a guy in a 1-year deal on a team that doesn't necessarily, have a Super Bowl window open right
Yeah.
now. The reason you make that signing is because you want to protect your rookie quarterback. The worst possible thing you can do for Cam Ward or a rookie quarterback in general is put him behind the offensive line that the Titans have put out there the past 2-3 seasons. I mean, I
Yeah.
talk like, not only was it bad, it was historically bad, especially at the tackle positions. But with the additions they made, Dan Moore, even though you can consider him just an average tackle, but having just an average tackle is phenomenal for the Titans. So I think, honestly, the offensive line, more than anything, was what I'm really happy about. And I know it's only preseason, but my God, even just blocking second stringers from opposing defenses in the preseason, like, that's something I haven't seen from a Titans offensive line in forever. Like, the offensive line, the pass protection, Cam Ward hasn't got touched once. The offensive line was the most important thing to me. I still don't know how I feel about the weapons. Calvin Ridley, though, I think I've mentioned this multiple times across, like, my socials. I really genuinely believe that Calvin Ridley is going to have the best statistical season of his career. And that's a lot. It's ain't a lot considering I think it was a 2019 or 2020 season with Atlanta. He put up like 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. I
Right.
genuinely believe like him and Cam's strengths, they intertwine like drastically. Like what
Mhm.
they both do good is good for the other. And with the receiving core, he's going to get all the targets. Like I mean, as soon like that was my intuition kind of going into the season. And then you watched Cam's first preseason game. And he like literally Cam Ward in a drive and a half has 40, 50 yards. He got like 95% of the targets. So I'm like,
Right.
yep, that's you're gonna see a lot of that this season. So outside of Calvin, I'm really hoping somebody steps up. Hopefully Tyler Lockett still has a little bit of juice, left in the tank. Um, Outside of that, hopefully one of the rookie receivers can step up. Io Manor, I'm a big fan of his. Hopefully he can step into that number 3 role. Tight end's going to be interesting with Chig, Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm might even end up as a tight end 1. He's looked phenomenal in camp.
Yeah.
Um, so it's gonna be interesting, man. The weapons aren't again ideal for rookie
Sure.
quarterback, but it could be a lot worse. They did a really good job in the offseason of giving Cam the best possible opportunity to succeed. A lot better lot better weapons around him this year than if he came out the draft last year and they took him. The weapons last year were bad, not good.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I also think that what will help is you got to hope that Tony Pollard could be consistent at running back. Like, I don't think he ever really reached the level. Like, some people were like, he's about to become one of the best running backs in the league after some flashes in Dallas. He hasn't been that, but like, you got to hope you have a balanced rushing attack, a better O line. If Ridley is as good as advertised as you're mentioning, and you could just find someone else there, maybe Lockett, Van Jefferson, like one of these guys can just fill that void. You got to hope like that could be good enough. Like, most quarterbacks in their rookie year do not have a system of that caliber. Like, it's very rare you get a guy like Tony Pollard at running back and a guy like Calvin Ridley at receiver for a rookie QB. So that's what they're going to have to hope for. Are you overall happy with the way the offense is constructed and for year 1, Cam Ward?
Yeah, and the cool thing about that, and I really didn't even think about it till I just was kind of thinking, listening to you speak there, and what makes me a little bit even more excited about Cam Ward is how he immediately has stepped into that leadership role. Like from day one, and that's kind of what you expected. I mean, you
Mhm.
never know for sure until you see it happen, but he's already taken, and the team is already looking to him as their leader. And that says a lot, when that offense has Kevin Zeitler. They have Tony Pollard. They have Calvin Ridley. I mean, there's veterans on offense, and Cam Ward immediately steps in and is leading it like he's been
Mhm.
there forever. Um,
That's a great sign for a quarterback. You need them to be that
exactly.
leader, that commander of the offense. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if we get a little more out of Tajay Spears this year. He's been a little banged up and he got hurt in the preseason. I've been very excited about him, but he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But with the veteran presence around him, with the his own leadership ability, I really do think it's a great setup. You mentioned Van Jefferson. I don't want to talk about him. I don't know if you saw his drop in the preseason. Man, Cam Ward, that was a beautiful throw. Van Jefferson drops it. A lot of people, I don't know. I think he might actually get cut because some of the younger receivers.
Yeah.
Xavier Restrepo is an interesting one. Everybody thought he was gonna, me included, thought he was gonna shock everybody, show why he should have been drafted. He's not even hardly getting any playing time in the preseason. So I think he is a lock to not make the roster, which might shock some people because a lot of people
Mhm.
thought guaranteed roster spot. But to answer your question, yes, I am very happy with how the roster is constructed. Obviously, always can be better, but he's in a lot better of a position than what I kind of anticipated because I really didn't think they were going to go out and sign a veteran guard,
Yeah.
like Kevin Zeitler. I thought we were going to the season with Traylon Burks as wide receiver too. Then we go out. I tell you, I was shocked. My jaw dropped when I saw the Tyler Lockett signing. Although I know that doesn't say way too much in 2025, but still a good quality receiver, to put around
Yeah.
your young quarterback.
I feel like people are just kind of like viewed as washed, but like I'm pulling up the stats right now. Like, Tyler Lockett's still a really solid player. Like, last year was definitely probably the worst season of his career just in terms of production, but like that's still a solid number 2 option for a rookie quarterback. Real quick before we break down the schedule, which we do for every team, and then wrap up, we'll see your projection. We haven't really talked about the defense at all. I mean, there are some holes. You sprinkle in some nice pieces. How do you feel about the defense? Because you can have as good of an offense as you want. You need 2 sides of the ball, Cincinnati.
It's weird to say this as a Titans fan with kind of how we've what we've experienced over the last, let's say, 7 years, I'm a lot more worried about the defense than I am the offense.
Yeah.
Genuinely believe, and this is one of the things about the offseason that's really frustrated me. Um, I genuinely think, and I don't think it's going to be close, that we're going to have the worst pass rush in the NFL. Um, we're relying on our second round pick, Aladejo, who he literally played a half a season at edge rusher after being converted from inside backer. So very raw. He is an athletic freak, but that's really our who we're relying on. I don't know if you hear that. We have insane thunder here in Mobile, Alabama. My goodness. Um,
What is that? Is that the storm coming up? What's it called? Aaron, the hurricane or something?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Hopefully that's a good omen. That's Cam Ward from his Miami Hurricanes. It's he's about to light up the NFL this season. But no. Anyways, goodness, that scared me to death. I can hear on my headphones everything. I made me lose my train of thought. My God, I got struck myself. But the defense. Um, maybe that was a good thing. Keeping my mind off the defense. Pass rush is gonna be bad.
yeah,
Arden Key is the other reliable pass rusher that we have. That's not really saying much. He'd be most teams' number threes. And what frustrates me is we've had the opportunity to go out and sign a veteran. I thought maybe we'd look at Matthew Judon. He just
Jadavion
signed
Clowney, maybe.
Jadavion Clowney, maybe his second stint in Tennessee. There was another, Preston Smith is one I've heard rumored. I'd feel a lot better if we went and got him. I just feel like we need something there because I even if we did sign a Preston Smith, I still think we'd have the worst pass rush in the NFL. Linebacker is kind of a question mark. I think we're gonna have James Williams, big 6'5", converted safety. He's probably gonna step in and fill in that inside backer role. And I mean, he's looked good in the preseason. He's a seventh round pick, and he's really surprised some people with how he's kind of developed there. I think safety's gonna be fine. Cornerback though. And the reason I say that is I just don't know how I feel about L'Jarius Sneed. Like, it's been a really rocky tenure in Tennessee. I'm not sure if you've been able to follow it.
Yeah,
Was phenomenal, obviously, in Kansas City. He comes over to Tennessee in that trade, and there were some question marks about his knee. Um, if maybe that was the reason Kansas City moved on from him, because it's kind of weird moving on from him for a third-round pick unless there were some
right.
injury issues. And he comes in, first few games, he looked terrible. Looked terrible. Should have had given up probably 3-4 touchdowns alone in like the first 4 or 5 weeks. Then he gets injured with a mysterious knee injury that we didn't really hear much about. Got put on the IR for the rest of the season. And he literally, this is like almost a full year later, just now is back off the PUP list and is supposed
ESPN
to
still has him
be.
listed as questionable. I mean,
That was just yesterday, literally just yesterday. Like people were just talking about, oh my God, is he even going to play this season? Because nobody knew. It's been super
right.
mysterious, and we'd always hear he's coming back soon, and then next thing you know, coaches say don't know if he'll be ready for the season opener. So he just came back, but it's like, man, I just don't know what we have there. Like, is he like is there something chronically wrong with that knee? Because he
Right.
was bad when he played, and then now knowing he's like a year from really getting any snaps, and like we're relying on him as our cornerback one. Although one guy that people do need to watch out for, I'm very excited about. He was really good as a rookie, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Louisville. I think, man, fifth round pick from a year ago. He was phenomenal as a stretch, but for where he was, where like his draft value, outperformed it by a mile last year, so I'm excited to see how he can take a step forward. Roger McCreary, he's always been solid ever since being drafted out of Auburn, so hopefully he can step forward, I believe, in a contract year. So even outside L'Jarius Sneed, I think cornerback can be okay, although we don't have much depth there. If Sneed obviously could return to his old form, that would be great. But regardless of how the secondary is, I think it's going to be solid. I don't think it really means much when I think we're, like I said, we're going to have a very poor pass rush.
And if the pass rush isn't great, there's only so much a secondary can do. How long are they supposed to be able to hold off receivers in coverage? I mean, that's part of the problem is like, I'm going to actually bring it back to my Ravens is last year. I don't think the secondary was as bad as people were saying. I think the pass rush wasn't producing and there's only so long that a defensive back room can hold off receivers. So yeah, the pass rush is definitely has to be great for this Tennessee team. I think you go into the season, and we talked about it at the beginning, and it's crazy that they don't have any primetime games. Let's take a look at the schedule real quick before we wrap up, because I always do these projections. Samuel, I don't think you're happy with my projection at all.
I mean,
Too many holes defensively, and then I think Cam Ward's going to be rusty, which doesn't mean he can't be good long term. But rookies and that stretch at the beginning at Denver versus the Rams, a Colts team that could be a playoff team, on the road against C.J. Stroud and the Texans, like that's a tough first 4 weeks for a rookie quarterback.
I will say though, if they win one of the first 2 games this season against one of those 2 really, really good football teams, if they split the first 2 games, maybe we could have 8-9. That would completely change my projection of the season if we can show that we can beat one of those 2 teams.
It's like Jaden Daniels against the Bengals last year. It's like, okay, you win that game, now they can go to the next level.
Exactly. And if we start out 2-0, I'm calling for the Super Bowl. But looking at your projection, although I'm not the most optimistic, like to me, 7 wins is a W this season.
And by the way, that is not supposed to be a win against the Chiefs. That was a mistake right there. That is a loss.
No, I can't take it back. But looking at your schedule, or at your projections, the only I wouldn't be surprised if we took all 3 games: Cardinals, Raiders, Browns. Although those all are 3 away games, I think we can beat the Browns. I'm pretty confident on that. Raiders, not so much. I think we at least win one of those 3 games.
Okay, sure, yeah.
This is my projections. I probably would say we win all 3, which would put me right at my 7-win total. But again, like 7 wins as an optimistic, slightly biased fan. If I'm only saying 7 wins, that should tell you really.
And I mean, look, I have them going 2-4 in the division. If you can go 3-3 against the dog, that is the AFC South, like that's a good start.
Oh yeah. And there's always a game that we pull out that like we shouldn't, that we win. So
it's the NFL. Like they could probably beat the Texans one of these games. Who knows? Division rival. Like it's the National Football League. It happens.
It's the NFL. We also go 17-0. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke with an Eagles player. I think he's now on the Raiders. His name is slipping away from me earlier this offseason at a like press conference or whatever. But one of the things he said is that like the margin for error is so slim. Before he joined Philadelphia, he was with Thomas Booker is his name. He was with Houston, and he was like when like they were really bad before the C.J. Stroud years. And he said that like just playing on the field, he didn't feel like they were far off from some of the best teams in the league. They would just lose like in the fourth quarter. Like the margin for error is so slim. These teams are closer than you think. And so you get a few bounces to go your way, let the chips fall as they may. And who knows? And that maybe it could be a nice season for Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. And I got to say, it is very, very, very disrespectful that they don't have this team on a primetime game with the number 1. Again, just goes back to the disrespect of having Cam Ward as the first pick. Like, how do you not have the first overall pick quarterback in a primetime game? How many did the Bears have last year? 4, 5? Like, it's ridiculous.
Dude, I don't get it. Like, at least slide us in there for a Thursday night game.
Right, those are like the boring ones. I feel like, yeah.
Imagine. Let me imagine the NFL got their way, and the Titans traded back with the Giants. The Giants took Cam Ward. How many primetime games are the Giants?
Oh my God, like 3 or 4. It is partially a Tennessee thing, yeah.
Yeah, I just gotta build the brain up, man. I guess that's what it is. Just I mean, Kansas City's always been a respectable franchise, but Patrick Mahomes takes over, and my God, now half the Swifties in the world are Chiefs fans. So all it takes is one player to really change the trajectory of everything, And
Jaden Daniels, the Commanders have 7 primetime games this year. Jaden Daniels, that's it. Like
exactly.
Right,
all it takes is one. Maybe if we can get off to a hot start, maybe we can slide in an extra 2-3 games, get flexed in there.
Yeah, honestly, I think the main flex game is for somehow. I think Jacksonville will probably be in the playoff mix. If Tennessee is too, that final week at Jacksonville, like if that's possibly for the playoffs, that's a divisional game. We saw that a few years ago with the Jaguars, the Titans in 2022. I think it was that crazy game or like turnovers everywhere. So who knows? Maybe if that can get flexed, something like that. Hopefully, you can sneak one in there.
I think it's been well, if you count this season since we don't have any. Next year, if we're so lucky to get one, next year we'll make 4 seasons that we have not had a standalone primetime game.
Wow.
It'll be 4 seasons. We've had a few Monday night games, but it's been part of the doubleheaders. But we've been kind of stinky. So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah.
Yeah.
you just hope,
They
after
no
not
longer
really
have the
having
Derrick
one.
Henry like marketable brand anymore. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we have that now. We have it now with our quarterback.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens. And I do just want to make a message to Titans fans and to NFL fans in general. Again, those first weeks are tough. Broncos, Rams, Colts if the defense is improved, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Raiders, like all those teams. Heck, the Patriots could even be competing for the playoffs. Like that is a tough stretch. There are no easy games there for an NFL team. So if Cam Ward starts off slow in those first few games, I do not want to see people on social media calling this guy a bust, saying he can't do it in the National Football League. As sports media in general, we just overreact to everything. CBS Sports did an NBA mock draft from this past year after the Summer League. Like, it's ridiculous, like, how much these little variables and preseason and early games change the way that we process and evaluate talent. I'm begging fans, just don't give up on Cam Ward if he struggles in the first few games. Like that can't be what we do.
I think people are really quick to forget Josh Allen sucked his first two
Yeah, he was
seasons.
terrible. Yeah,
Peyton Manning, he broke the all-time interception record. Brett Favre, first few seasons, was throwing 15, 20 interceptions a year. So, like, yeah, you'll have your anomalies, like your Jaden Daniels, who just come out swinging.
yeah.
But it's still the NFL. Like, you got, like, me personally, even if he was very average this year, it's gonna take me 3 years of very average to below average football from Cam Ward to really give up on him. That's how much I believe in that guy.
Yeah.
Again, that might be on the optimistic side of things, but again, like with the first round pick, just a rookie quarterback in general, like you got to give him time. I mean, I saw people, I like you talk about the takes, the overreactionary takes. I was literally Cam Ward threw like 2 incompletions on his opening drive from his first preseason game, and everybody was calling him a bust. And
Yeah, I
they're
saw
being
that tweet. You're
serious,
like, everyone shut up. Like it's ridiculous.
dude. Yeah, because he I think 2 of 9 last week in his second preseason game.
Yeah.
While you have the Van Jefferson drop that probably if he catches that goes for a touchdown potentially that changes everything. And there's a bunch of other throws he made that were actually good. He maybe had 1, possibly 2 out of those 7 incompletions were bad, quote unquote, bad throws or uncatchable balls. Other
Sure.
ones were easily catchable footballs. But again, like people just like it says a lot for me as a fan to watch a quarterback go 2 of 9 and like be like he actually looked good.
Right.
Because there's a lot outside of his control that went down
That's why you
there.
have to
But
watch the game. Stats can only say so much if you understand why those stats are happening, if that makes sense. Like that's why I
exactly.
love some of the advanced analytics because it adds a little. It makes the regular stats less vague, adds a little bit more perspective and color to it.
Correct. And
Yeah.
he like I said, man, it's been a long time since I've been stoked to watch some Tennessee Titans preseason football. The only thing that sucks about it is I get a little tease. We get to watch Cam play for like a drive or two, and then he's done for.
Yeah.
For the best though, don't want him to get hurt. Do want to see him
Right.
get reps though. And then tonight again, be excited to watch him. And then I gotta wait another 2 weeks. But then after this next prolonged wait, it'll be time for the real thing.
It's unbelievable. Football season's here. Samuel Brown, any final words? Any final thoughts here as we wrap up? As we wrap it up.
Just don't doubt Cam Ward, man. Like I was thinking about this earlier, and again, granted, I probably should have just disclaimer at the beginning. I make Madden YouTube videos for a living, man. Like I'm not a professional here. But sometimes I feel like I need to trust my gut, and sometimes like I watch things and like, am I like actually like seeing like am I actually like is this real? And like watching Cam Ward, I have never been so optimistic that we got the right guy or that somebody was going to be so good. I kind of feel the same way, and I feel bad for saying this. I feel the same way about how I felt about Anthony Richardson. I was just very convicted that I just didn't see much. And I remember I made a quarterback rankings video that year, like projecting how the quarterbacks were going to
Sure.
perform
Yeah.
that year. And I had him dead last, and I got ripped in the comments. But I stayed.
You're right. I mean,
I
it was
stood
just
tall.
raw talent. It was never really
Yeah.
true production.
But I will say, because everybody got in my ear, he looked okay his first few games in the NFL, and I completely flip-flopped. Anthony Richardson, I was wrong. But then I should have just stood firm, man. Sometimes you gotta trust my gut.
And you know,
And
and you know what you are standing firm on. How many years now have you picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl?
I think two
It's
or
got,
3 years. It's gonna happen eventually.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm picking because I mean, those are my boys. But like,
Even
it's got to
more
happen
so
at
than
some point.
last year. Like talking about your Ravens, they were already a favorite, and they made some pretty solid offseason additions, man.
And I don't think
I'll,
the playoffs thing is on Lamar. The entire team falls apart. It's not on Lamar. It's not Lamar can't win in the playoffs. I hate when people say that.
yeah,
And
people
it's
just
crazy. You want to talk about disrespect from a quarterback too. I mean, after that Tennessee game, how many times have you seen a 22-year-old that's you say they can't win in the playoffs after 2 playoff games? Like, it's ridiculous. So
at least he
we'll see.
made the playoffs as a
Right.
22-year-old. Like who can like how many people can
You
say
want
that?
MVP as like a 22-year-old. So like, yeah,
But
it's nuts.
but I will say, just for my gut, and again, I know everybody watching will think this is just an optimistic Titans fan. I will be shocked, and I'll own it too. I will own it, but I will be shocked if, let's say, 3.5 seasons from now, Cam Ward is not considered a top 10 quarterback in the league. I'm not gonna say top five or anything, but I genuinely think I'll be shocked if he doesn't within just a few seasons
I mean, that's fair.
already
It's
be
the number one
considered
overall
one of the
pick. I mean, in 3 years, yeah.
well, I really think within a few years we will already consider Cam Ward as one of the better Titans quarterbacks in history, and that's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice to be able to look forward to
Yeah.
something for the next 10 years.
We'll have to see. RBT, Samuel Brown, whatever we want to call you. The audience knows you as RBT. I can't thank you enough, man. This was awesome. Good luck to your Titans this year, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate it. Do not like you for stealing Derrick Henry from me though.
Hey, man, I loved it. It was such a weird feeling. We hated this guy for years, and now he's wearing purple. But hey, you'd at least like to see Derrick Henry get a Super Bowl. You don't feel spite against him, right? You like him still.
I would much rather him, 1-1 with us, but I would like. I just don't. I don't want him to win a Super Bowl and then like everybody remember him as a Raven. That's what I don't want.
Right.
That's what I don't like. That
The
would that would that
dominant
would
version of
crush
Derrick
my
Henry, like you'll
soul.
still remember like that stiff arm against Earl Thomas. It'll still be the Titans days, I feel like.
I hope so. That would break the heart. That'd break the old heart.
We're going to wrap it up here alongside Samuel Brown, RBT. I'm your host, Chase Coburn, saying so long here from 32 on 32 on Chase's Sports News.